Hey, my dear friend, thank you for being here. I see you. You're a sensitive and creative being with a fire inside wanting to express and serve. You found your answers in spirituality after suffering led you to seek another way of life, and deep inside, underneath the noise of the world, there's a quiet clarity, a calling to dedicate your life to something real, to living from your deepest truth and serving from that place. If you're anything like me, you've always been the person people came to for guidance in difficult moments. There's something about you that makes them feel loved, safe, and seen. This is not a coincidence. You're here to guide. If this is true for you, you're feeling something right now. Recognition, excitement, knowing. But right alongside that truth, there's probably another feeling too. The weight of how things actually are in your life right now. You know you have a deeper purpose, and you know you can't keep living this way. What you really want is complete freedom to be fully you, creating and serving on your own terms, working just a few hours a day, time for spiritual practice, the people you love, and a meaningful, slow life. Your conscious personal brand is where becoming your highest self, serving powerfully, and receiving abundantly can integrate with no effort. You don't need more hustle, forcing, and complexity. Just 2 to 3 hours a day, simple systems, and deep presence. My name is Eliseo Renteria. I am a conservatory-trained musician, former TV actor with over 140,000 followers. And after a decade of fragmentation, TV success that felt empty, 5 a.m. bakery shifts I dreaded, burnout that broke me, I discovered another way. And now I work only 2 to 3 hours a day, mostly from home, having served more than 90 people through deep presence-based guidance. After guiding different people through different challenges, my deepest calling emerged, showing spiritual seekers and creators how to build aligned businesses without hustling, forcing, or fragmenting themselves. What I would love to share with you in the next hour changed everything for me. But first, let me share how I got here. I am lying on our second-hand blue sofa in the dark. It's July 2022, I just turned 30, and I'm in Belgium. And my wife and newborn son are sleeping in the bedroom next door. And here I am alone, hand on my chest, silent despair. I was completely burnt out. We were living on government support. I couldn't work, my wife couldn't work. She just gave birth. And I felt the shame of filling out those government forms, the weight of that cooking course I was forcing myself to build, and the family I couldn't take care of. And it was all crushing me. And I remember thinking I failed. I failed as a man, as a husband, as a father, as an artist, as an entrepreneur. And there was this thought that said, what if this is the new me? What if there's no coming back from this? But this burnout wasn't the beginning, of course. It was the consequence of a decade of fragmentation. When I was 20, I landed a TV series. I had a 2-year contract that paid really well. Everyone thought I made it. But I remember one night in my Buenos Aires apartment, 3 big bags full of free gear against the wall, living the dream everyone thought I wanted. And I told my flatmate, man, I feel like I touch a hologram. And I said that because from far away it looked real, the success, the life. But when you try to touch it, there's nothing there. All that external success, and I just felt empty inside. So I moved to Belgium for music school. I went to the Royal Conservatory of Antwerp. It was a fresh start. And I discovered The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and life began to flow. I met my wife. I graduated with distinction. But then when I had my diploma in hand, it was time to decide my next steps. And my girlfriend and I created an online cooking business together, and I also began working on a music album. And meanwhile, I was working 5 a.m. shifts at the supermarket bakery during COVID. I was waking up at 4 a.m. I was biking through the darkness and the rain sometimes, and there was just dread building with every pedal. And every week, I'd have a mini breakdown, sitting at my computer, unable to think clearly, completely exhausted. And I told myself, when I make money, when I figure out this online business thing, then I'll go back to presence. First business, then spirituality. And without realizing it, I abandoned presence, the practice that transformed me in the first place. And there was spirituality over here and business over there, art somewhere else, all competing with each other. So with my girlfriend, we got married, went to Argentina for 4 months, we got pregnant, and back in Belgium, I got a part-time job at a coffee bar. It was a toxic working environment, and after a week, I started to feel overwhelmed, anxious, unsafe. And on top of that, I was forcing myself to work on the business and my music on my free days. And 2 weeks before my son was born, I crashed. Complete burnout. And in the darkness, I had two choices. I would spiral down, continue spiraling down, or I would take an honest look inside. And my son and my wife needed me, and I wanted to heal. I also wanted to feel good again. So I decided to go all in into my healing. I said no to the antidepressants my doctor recommended. I began therapy, and I dropped the cooking business. I bought a $1,000 course on building a personal brand, and I started writing on X with 0 followers, completely fresh start. I began posting, no one cared, but I kept going, and we traveled again to Argentina for 8 months this time. I was doing everything I was told, writing content, newsletters, calls, comments, everything, but I began getting sick every month, and my body was forcing me to stop. And it was crazy because I was finally doing what I loved. I was really, pursuing what I felt was really my path, but I was dreading it, and it made no sense. And then one morning, I'll go with a friend. I was sitting in the hallway of our budget hotel, and I was feeling lost, insecure, incompetent, and I was sharing how overwhelmed I was. And he asked me a simple question from a deep place. He asked me, do you really need to do all those things? And the way he asked it and how I was feeling, when I heard that, I broke down crying. And in that moment, I felt this huge weight dissolve, and I realized, what if presence is the business? Not presence and the business, but presence as the business itself. And of course it felt insane, but I couldn't do it any other way anymore. It was not working for me. So I let go. I stopped forcing. I stopped calculating. I got inspired to offer one presence workshop in my city. I shared about it online. 23 people showed up. Real transformations, real service, real money. And one woman that came at the end looked straight into my eyes and said to me, "You're made for this." And it felt like divine confirmation. Online, people started resonating with my authentic content. Conversations happened naturally that turned into guidance sessions. And in my first year of this aligned approach, I've earned over $7,000 holding space for my clients, working 2 to 3 hours a day, mostly from home, no hustle, no manipulation, just presence and just service. Because I finally understood that your conscious personal brand is where becoming your highest self, serving powerfully, and earning abundantly can integrate with no effort. And now I'm envisioning building a house on our land in Argentina's countryside, working a few deeply aligned hours a day, time for spiritual practice, time for family, time for creative expression. Everything integrated, nothing competing. And I'm still building, I'm still discovering what's possible, but I'm no longer wondering if integration is possible. I'm living it, and I can show you the path I'm walking. Before I share 3 realizations that change everything, I want to ask you something. Have you ever learned something that felt completely true for you and made complete sense, but somehow you found yourself unable to actually apply it, embody it? And that's not a failure of willpower. That's unconscious beliefs running underneath. Through my journey and working with dozens of conscious creators, I've discovered there aren't really like 100 of different limiting beliefs. There are 3 fundamental ones from which all the other resistances, all the other limiting beliefs emerge and are born from. And the beautiful thing is when you see them, you can finally let them go. I love calling them mother beliefs. So let's share mother belief number 1, and it's the readiness illusion. So you're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect system. You're waiting to be ready. You read book after book, you take course after course, certification after certification, and you say to yourself, just one more, and then I'm gonna be ready. But what I would love you to see is that this belief is keeping you stuck. There's a quote that helped me a lot in my path that I love, and it's often attributed to the Persian poet Hafiz, that says, "The world reveals itself to you in proportion to the steps that you take." That means the feedback you need for your brand clarity, to refine your guidance, all of it emerges from the steps you take. And the ego will do everything to stop you in the most clever way. It will even use steps to avoid taking actual steps. Like, for example, reading without embodying, taking courses without implementing, pursuing certifications, hoping validation will give you confidence that never comes. I would love to share my story of how I dissolved the readiness illusion. Less than a year ago, my wife and I were struggling financially, and I decided to offer a Presence Circle membership here in Antwerp. And I rented a beautiful studio, I crafted a landing page, I ran ads for the first time, and nobody booked. The day came, nobody showed up. And I sat there in that beautiful room that cost money we didn't have, completely alone. And I was thinking, like, I failed, this attempt failed. But I was excited. I was in the arena. I was getting feedback. So then I adjusted. Instead of an expensive membership, I ran a standalone workshop, and 2 people came, and both loved it. And one became my private client for 5 months, making up for the rent and ads many times over. And some months later, during summer, I felt stuck, and I got inspired to offer presence gatherings at the park every week, every Sunday. And 10 people came the first day. And I kept showing up, sometimes 7, sometimes 3. Sometimes there was one time even nobody showed up at all. And during that summer, I ended up inviting one attendee, let's call her Luna, to work together one-on-one. I didn't know anything about her. We had a nice exchange before the circle, and she mentioned imposter syndrome. And it turns out, and I didn't know this, which is crazy, is that she already had a personal brand with thousands of followers, but no clients due to imposter syndrome. And after 3 months of working together, she served 3 one-on-one clients, sold 6 courses, and later guided her first in-person event. And she was my first client to sign clients, and working with her helped me refine my offer in real time. So you see, like, what I'm trying to show you here is that I was never ready. I was just taking the step that felt right in the moment, faced by real life challenges, and I was getting real feedback, and I was using that feedback to reflect and then to take my next step. And the truth is, you're never gonna be ready. It's never gonna happen. And at the same time, you've been ready all along. You've been ready to take your first step. Not the perfect step, just a messy, shaky, honest step. And if you keep going, keep taking those steps, keep getting feedback, keep refining, reflecting, and course correcting your brand, your message, who you can serve, your path will reveal itself to you. Let's go with mother belief number 2. And I call this one the visibility terror. You want to embody your mission. You want to share your message. You want to serve powerfully. But there is an invisible wall right before you hit post. And you find yourself diluting your content so it doesn't offend anyone, censoring yourself, editing out the vulnerability. And the result is that your brand becomes lukewarm. You don't trigger anyone, you don't get hate, but also you don't deeply resonate with anyone either. And underneath all of this, there is this belief that says, if I'm fully seen, if I'm really visible, something bad, something terrible will happen. It's a fear of being cancelled, exiled, left completely alone, annoying friends, family, the fear of people thinking you're crazy, that you're delusional. This fear runs deep because being visible really visible, speaking your truth threatens disrupting your life, the life you built by not speaking your truth and without being able to predict what happens next. And I would love to share a story with you from my path that it's so tied to this. About 8 years ago, I stayed at the spiritual eco village in Portugal for a month. And when I came back, I knew I was ready for a serious relationship. So I made a decision to stop performing, stop trying to be liked, which was a big thing for me, and to speak my truth, which was scary, and just to see what happens. And once I was on a date that was going well, till I mentioned the eco village. And in that exact second, I could literally see and feel her interest vanish, and the date ended early. And some dates later, I was having a drink with a girl I work with, and we were connecting deeply. And then I shared that I felt I was meant to guide people. And back then, this calling was just a whisper in my heart, and my mind thought I was crazy. I didn't see a path forward. Yet I felt called to share my truth with her. And to my surprise, she said, "Yeah, I feel that too." And that girl is my wife now. It's the mother of my son. And we are completely aligned and share the same vision. And this all happened because I dared to be fully visible from the beginning. And something similar happened in my business, the same principle. Early in 2025, I was in a really difficult moment. My wife was in pain and couldn't work, and we were struggling financially. And I felt called to share this through my content. And right before hitting post, I felt the fear. And I was thinking, like, if I share this, who is want to work with me? I'm trying to build a business, and I'm sharing that I'm struggling. And I thought this was gonna repel all potential clients, but I shared it anyway because it was true. And after a while, I checked the post, and people flooded my DMs. There was support. People were very nice and sharing that they were touched by my post. And a week later, I was working with my first $1,500 client. And it turns out the very vulnerability I fear will repel clients actually allowed me to receive more than I ever had. And at the end of our work together, he shared that that post is what pulled him to work with me. So here's what I would love you to understand. Your vulnerability is not your weakness. Your vulnerability is your strength. People don't hire guides who have it all figured out. They hire guides who are real, who understand the challenges because they're navigating their own. Your people are waiting for you to speak your truth. The people who are meant to discover you are searching for exactly what you're hiding. And let's finish with mother belief number 3, the receiving wound. So you found your answers in spirituality. You want to dedicate your life to service, but there is this deep tension. How can I charge for spiritual guidance? Doesn't money corrupt the purity of the work? So you're afraid to honor the value of your service. You give away free sessions, and when you finally dare to charge, you charge less than you should and over-deliver until you're drained, and you say you're being generous. You say you're being of service. But here's what I would love you to know, to see, to understand. You're robbing your clients of their transformation in 2 different ways. The first way, when you're undercharged, you cannot sustain your business. So you need another job, and a job that takes energy and time. So your spiritual business becomes squeezed into the margins of your life instead of the center of it, and the people who need you the most, they can access your deepest service. And the second way, when people, your clients, don't invest significantly, they don't commit. And you can see this in your life. The free books you downloaded, how many did you read? The free courses or very cheap courses, how many did you complete? And now think about the things you pay real money for. Money that made you pause, made you decide. You showed up differently because when we invest, we commit. So the money isn't just payment. The money is the energetic marker of commitment. And a deep transformation requires deep commitment. So when I was working with Luna, I realized during our first session that there were actually many people who would want to work with her. She just didn't know how simple it was to invite people. So I shared what I would do if I was her. And when I did, I could see that she had an aha moment about how simple it actually was. And at the same time, there was this fear of actually taking the step. And that same day, as I was sharing my bank details for the first month's payment with her, she replied and she said to me that because she'd invested in her transformation, she felt that she had no choice but to take action. And it was very interesting to see. Her money investment wouldn't allow her to keep letting imposter syndrome paralyze her anymore. And about 4 weeks later, I was on holiday in Greece when I received a text. She shared with me she had just begun working with her first paid client. So her money investment allowed her to fully commit to her transformation. And here's what I've learned. Money is energy, and service is also energy. When you offer your gifts, your presence, your wisdom, the transformation you facilitate, that's energy flowing out of you. And when somebody pays you, that's energy flowing back. It's a sacred exchange, not a transaction, a dance of giving and receiving where everyone benefits. And when you undercharge, you cannot serve deeply. Your clients don't commit fully, they don't transform fully. So undercharging hurts everyone. But when you charge appropriately, you serve from overflow, your clients commit fully, and they transform deeply. Everybody wins. So now you've seen them, the three mother limiting beliefs keeping you stuck. And seeing these beliefs can be painful, but that's not a problem. That's actually the beginning of freedom. Because when you release these beliefs and step into a different way of being, everything changes. I know this because I lived it. I was trapped in all three beliefs and they kept me stuck for years. But when I finally let them go, three fundamental truths revealed themselves. And this is what I want to share with you today. And these aren't tactics or strategies. These are foundational truths. And when you start living from these truths, your business becomes an extension of who you really are. Let's begin with the teaching number one, the integration revolution. Most people live fragmented lives. Spirituality over here, creativity over there, a day job to pay bills, business on the side, and they are all competing, stealing energy from each other. You wake up for your spiritual practice, you then switch into parent mode, you go to your job wearing your professional mask, you come home to work on your business, but you're exhausted, and each one is training you, each one separate, each one incomplete. And integration is the opposite. All parts of you living together, not competing, feeding each other. Fragmentation steals your power, and integration unleashes it. And I would love to invite you to imagine something. Imagine a spiral moving downward, and it's tightening as it goes. And you have spirituality, creativity, income, service, family, all competing. And job drains creativity, the business skills steal presence from family, spiritual practice feels impossible because you should be working. So everything pulling against everything else, and the spiral tightens. There's less energy, less clarity, less hope. And this is where I was in 2022, lying on that blue sofa, feeling broken. That's where the downward spiral leads. And now imagine the opposite. Imagine a spiral moving upward, expanding as it goes. Same pieces, but now they are feeding each other. Your inner work becomes your content becomes your clients become your income supports more inner work, one integrated flow, spiraling upward. Can you feel the difference? And the beautiful thing is that your story, your quirks, your weird interests, in the downward spiral, those feel like problems. But in the upward spiral, they become your power. Because when everything integrates, when you stop hiding parts of yourself, you become magnetic to exactly the right people. This is what a conscious personal brand actually is a vessel for complete integration, where becoming your high self, serving powerfully, and receiving abundantly are not three separate things. They're one unified expression of who you are. And when you build from that place, work doesn't feel like work. Service doesn't feel like sacrifice. Income doesn't feel like selling out. Everything flows because everything is integrated. Let's go now with teaching number 2, the presence awakening. I remember in the early stages of building my brand, I was confused and I was forcing myself through daily tasks, and it was making me sick every month until I remembered something that had changed my life once before: presence. Most of us are living between past and future, replaying what happened, projecting what might happen, using the future to project our salvation. When I achieve this, whatever that is, then I'll be happy. Are you familiar with that? Of course you are. Like I'm also. But that moment, of course, never comes. We are lost in thought, trapped in the mind. And this resistance creates blockages: worry, anxiety, fear. And I would love to offer an image to share this with you. Imagine your natural state as a pristine brook. It's clean, powerful, flowing freely. But when you operate from your mind, resisting this moment, that resistance creates blockages. Stones, imagine now stones lodging in the brook, obstructing the flow. Your energy now is trapped. You're exhausted. But when you surrender to what you feel, when you're just present, the mind quiets, your energy clears, your frequency rises, and the brook recovers its natural flow. That's presence. And in your business, this changes everything. There were 3 mentors in my journey where something inexplicable happened. I'd have a conversation with them, and I feel like something I can't explain. Deep silence, a profound presence. I felt seen, heard, loved, even if it was the first time I was talking to them. And without them saying anything about working together, I knew and I felt in my heart that I wanted to work with them. And that's what presence does. It magnetizes naturally the people meant to be guided by you. Not through tactics, not through manipulation, through pure energetic resonance. And I remember one of my clients shared that he experienced this exact same thing during our first conversation. That the presence, that silence, that being seen, and he knew he was meant to work with me, even though he didn't know why. And I've become what I've been drawn to. So this is in theory, it's spiritual mechanics. When you inhabit the present moment, your energy field's frequency rises, and your clients feel you before understanding you. Your gifts reveal themselves. Your content becomes alive. You magnetize ideal clients, and your guidance transforms lives. Everything in your business flows from who you're being, not what you're doing, your state of consciousness. When you are a blocked brook, your business is blocked. But if you're a clean brook, you have this effortless flow in your business. The practical steps don't disappear, of course. They reveal themselves in perfect timing. And now you have the energy and the clarity to take those steps. This is not just spiritual bypassing or craziness over strategy. This is the foundation that makes strategy work. And finally, we have the teaching number 3, the inner revelation. And here's what no one tells you about building a conscious business. You're not creating something new. You are revealing what's already there inside of you. Most people approach building a business like they're constructing something from scratch, and they say, I need to find a niche, I need to research the market, I need to figure out what people will pay for. And they are looking outside themselves for the answer. And they create a business that feels like work. It doesn't flow, it feels forced, because they are trying to create something instead of revealing what's already inside of them. And there's a huge difference. Creating requires effort. Revealing requires presence. Your business is already inside of you. You just can't see it yet. And I'm going to make this extremely simple. Your entire business comes down to this: one person, one challenge, one transformation. That's it. So let's begin with the one person. This is the person you serve. And this one person is your past self from 1 to 5 years ago. It can be shorter months, can be a decade ago, it's fine. But just I give you this number, to make it simple for now. And the beautiful thing about serving your past self is that you know what keeps them up at 3 a.m. You know the questions they are asking. You know what they've already tried that didn't work because you've been them. You've lived their confusion, their pain, their longing. And right now, there are thousands of people exactly where you were. They are your one person. Then we have one challenge. So, what is your past self struggling with? One core challenge that's keeping them stuck. The thing that feels impossible. This is a challenge you lived through, not from research, from actually being there, from feeling the weight of it. That's your authority. And finally, we have one transformation. So what's the bridge from that challenge to freedom? One transformation. From stuck to flowing, from confused to clear. This is what you facilitate. Not because you've studied it, not because you went to school for it, not because you got certified, because you lived it. You walked through the exact challenge and came out the other side. And now you guide others across the same bridge. Basically, you're serving yourself from the past, transcend a challenge you had through the transformation you lived. And I know this works because I've seen it happen in my life. So I mentioned James, my first $1,500 client. When I began working with him, I realized he's into spirituality like me. Okay. And he's an artist like me. Wow. He struggled with depression and mental health like me. And he dreaded his day job like me. And when we met, he was where I was a year prior. So I could guide him. And there are people very similar to you dealing with the exact challenges you dealt with, in deep need of the transformation you went through. And here's what happens when you serve your past self. You don't need to research your market. You are the market research. You don't need to guess what they need. You remember exactly. You don't need to prove you understand. They feel it instantly. There's no effort, no competition, because nobody else has walked your exact journey. So your business isn't out there waiting to be found. It's already inside of you. Remember who you were. Remember what you overcame. Remember how you transformed. And then extend the transformation to the person you used to be. That's your business. So let's bring all this together. Integration, presence, your business already inside of you. These aren't three separate teachings. They're one complete system. And when you embody all three, you become what I call an integrated guide. And your brand, it becomes a lighthouse. Think about what a lighthouse does. It doesn't chase ships. It doesn't convince anyone to come to shore. It simply stands integrated, present, shining its light. And the ships that need it, they find it naturally. Your integration is the foundation, the solid rock the lighthouse stands on. No more fragmentation. Everything aligned, flowing together. Your presence is the light itself, the beam that cuts through fog and darkness. Not forced, not manufactured, just pure awareness radiating naturally. Your business, the one person, one challenge, one transformation, that's your unique frequency. The specific wavelength your people recognize instantly. And those limiting beliefs, the readiness illusion, gone. Because lighthouses don't wait to be ready. They simply are. The visibility terror dissolved because lighthouses aren't performing. They're being present, authentic themselves. The receiving wound healed because when ships reach safe harbor, everyone wins. The exchange is sacred, not shameful. Your brand isn't something you build, it's something you become. An integrated guide, standing rooted, shining present, guiding your people home, not through force, not through manipulation, through simple, authentic, radiant being. If you've deeply resonated with what I've shared, you're feeling something right now. Recognition, resonance, relief. Like, yes, this is what I've been searching for. But maybe there's also another feeling. Okay, but how? How do I actually walk this path? And the good news is that there is a clear path, a pathway that I walked myself from fragmentation to integration. and I call it the Sacred Integration Journey. And it's designed specifically for spiritually oriented creators who refuse to fragment themselves but don't know how to build a sustainable business authentically. This is not a paint by numbers formula. Formulaic approaches create fragmentation. The Sacred Integration Journey is holographic. Each piece contains the whole. Each lens is a different angle of viewing your same integrated self, and your journey unfolds naturally, organically, from the inside out. The Sacred Integration Journey guides you through 4 key lenses: energy alignment, cultivating presence as your foundation; brand crystallization, revealing who you serve and what you offer; service architecture, structuring your guidance and pricing; and magnetic expression, authentic content and client attraction. And everything is happening organically. Each lens reveals the whole from a different angle. And this is what happens when you stop trying to create a business and you start revealing what's already inside of you. And here's what we'll create together. In over 3 months, you're going to create your personalized sacred flow practice, the daily ritual that keeps you integrated for life, your complete 360 degrees brand document, who you serve, what you offer, how you express it, all crystallized. We'll also create a living Notion template. It's your entire brand in one transparent place. You're also gonna develop and reveal your premium offer and clear messaging, what you serve and how you invite. You're gonna also craft your simple client attraction system, how the right people find you, and you will have complete clarity on inviting $1,500 clients plus through authentic presence. And at the end of our journey together, you're embodying the identity of the integrated guide, serving from deep presence, working 2 to 3 hours per day, attracting premium clients naturally, living completely integrated, spirituality, creativity, service, income as one thing. Not someday, not eventually, now. And I would love to share with you some beautiful client transformations that I've witnessed. Let me begin with Sebastian. Sebastian came to me wanting to build a business, but completely lost. And he didn't know what to write, what to offer, where to start. And he was burned out, overwhelmed, scattered. And early on, I realized it was impossible for him to build a conscious business from complete misalignment. So I invited him to stop trying to build and to stop forcing and instead focus on his inner work. And he didn't like that that much, but he understood, and for months I held space for his process. Deep emotional work, father wounds, marriage struggles, financial fears, creative suppression, and I didn't give him tactics. I gave him permission to feel what he'd been avoiding his entire life. And during our last 2 sessions, I was talking to a different man. He was present, he was grounded, he was centered, and life challenges that once overwhelmed him now felt manageable. But most importantly, he lived a deep transformation, one he can now build his entire business around. Then we have Maria Jesus' story.
Maria Jesus was already creating, posting vlogs, building an audience, but scattered. She was writing, vlogging, singing, and she had so many interests competing. And no clients, no brand clarity, and no offer. For years she felt she couldn't be all her parts at once. Artist, or spiritual guide, or something more serious, quote unquote. In any of those fragmented versions, she was betraying herself. During our 3 months together, her brand revealed itself through our explorations, not forced, revealed. She found her real offer, identified her ideal client, dismantled the limiting beliefs that were blocking her, and went from not knowing how much to charge to putting a number on her offer without guilt. And by the end, she had a complete 360-degree vision of her brand, completely crystallized, a full business presentation online, a clear structure, and a client attraction system built together, ready. Shortly after our 3 months together, her first paid client arrived. And not because she was lucky, because integration works. And today she's more integrated than ever. her offer evolves with her, and there are already people receiving it.
And finally, I would love to share Luna's story, and I've shared a little bit of her story before. We began with her suffering from imposter syndrome. She was stuck, no clients, despite having thousands of followers. And through our work, she found her confidence. She began offering discovery calls, inviting her first clients. And 5 weeks after we began, she was guiding her first paid client. A week later, her second. And she went on to guide 3 one-on-one paid clients, sell 6 email courses, and she offered her first live workshop. She was not a guide with a lot of followers anymore. She was a guide with clients serving and facilitating transformation, and that opened her path and showed her what was possible. And these are only 3 of many beautiful transformation stories, and this is what happens when you stop fragmenting and you start integrating. Integration works not because I'm special, because it's aligned with how consciousness actually operates. This is the first time I'm offering the Sacred Integration Journey in its complete crystallized form. The investment is $1,500 for the first 3 people who join me in this foundational cohort, and after these 3 founding clients, the price becomes $3,000. And as I continue refining this work, the investment will naturally grow to $6,000 and beyond. But right now, you have the opportunity to receive this complete system at its launch price, $1,500. And I know that might feel significant, and honestly, it should, because if it didn't, you wouldn't take it seriously. And that's something I have already shared with you in this presentation. When we don't invest significantly, we don't commit fully. And when there's something free, you might engage or you might not. When something's cheap, you consume it casually. There are no real stakes. But when you invest significantly, you become a different person. You become focused, committed, all in. Those $1,500 isn't just payment to me, it's commitment to yourself. It's you saying, I'm serious about this transformation. I'm not just curious, I'm committed. And here's what you're actually really investing in. Years of trial and error avoided. I spent years figuring this out through painful mistakes, so you don't have to. Protection from the path that breaks you. The approach I teach honors your energy instead of depleting it. You get the map and the guide, not just information, actual presence-based guidance, and the permission to be yourself and thrive, the bridge between spiritual calling and real income. And there is naturally a cost of not doing this work, delaying your calling, another year stuck, confused, fragmenting yourself, your gifts staying locked inside, the people who need you the most never receiving what you have to offer, the regret of knowing you were meant to guide, meant to serve, meant to live integrated, but not doing it. And there is a price to that too, not just in money, in aliveness, in presence with your family, in creative energy, in peace. I offer 2 payment options. Option number 1, you pay in full, $1,500, 1 complete investment, and we begin immediately. Or the option number 2, which also works, it's a payment plan, $500 per month for 3 months, same total investment spread across our time together. And I would love to share also with you something that might surprise you. There is no money-back guarantee with this work, and here's why. Money-back guarantees are for products you can return, and this is transformation you live through. So once we begin working together, once I hold space for you, once you receive the guidance, the presence, the sacred integration journey, you can't unreceive that. And honestly, a refund policy would undermine the sacred nature of this work, because transformation requires commitment, full commitment. And when you know you can get your money back if it gets uncomfortable, you keep 1 foot out the door, you resist the discomfort, you don't do the deep work, and the transformation just doesn't happen. Not because the path doesn't work, but because you didn't fully commit. So what I can promise you, I cannot give you guarantee, I cannot give you your money back, but I can promise you fully that I will show up completely every session, my full presence. I will guide you through the exact path I walked, from fragmentation to integration. I will hold space for whatever wants to emerge, your shadows, your resistance, your breakthroughs, without judgment and with deep love. And I will guide you and work together with you so your brand crystallizes and reveals so you can serve and earn through your personal conscious brand. But I cannot do the work for you. I cannot make you show up. I can force your transformation. That's something I cannot promise. That's on you. That's the only real way it works. Because when you do it yourself, fully committed, no escape route, it becomes permanently yours. So no, there's no money back guarantee, just an invitation to walk a proven path with complete commitment. And if that feels scary, good. That fear is information. It's telling you this is significant, this matters, this will change you. And that's exactly what you need. The Sacred Integration Journey is for spiritually oriented creators, conscious seekers, coaches, guides, artists, entrepreneurs trapped in an impossible situation. You either have a soul-crushing job that pays the bills but kills your spirit, or you're pursuing your calling but struggling financially, or maybe you're teaching, you're coaching, you're serving in ways that feel adjacent to your gifts but not quite right. You feel fragmented, spirituality over here, business over there, art somewhere else, and you're exhausted from trying to hold all these pieces together. You have genuine gifts. People come to you naturally for guidance. There's something about you, about your presence that helps others feel seen. And you walk through fire and emerge with wisdom, but you don't know how to bridge calling and income. And what you really, really want, and you're called to, there's something inside of you that knows it's possible, is that you want to use and extend your actual gifts to serve powerfully, to work 2 to 3 hours daily through complete presence, to understand how to attract and serve $1,000 500 clients plus without manipulation, and to integrate, not fragment, all parts of yourself. If that's you, if you just felt yourself in that description, this is for you. But this is something I really want to mention. Most people say they want transformation, but what they actually really want is a formula. And integration requires something most people aren't willing to give. And it's not money, it's not time, it's honesty. Complete, radical honesty with yourself. This journey requires you to dive deep within, to let go of who you've been pretending to be, and trust presence over strategy. This is not for people who want to get rich quick scheme, need results in 30 days, are looking for tactics without inner work. They want the paint by numbers formula, aren't willing to feel uncomfortable, and they cannot invest $1,500 right now. And if any of those are true, this is not your path, and that's completely okay. No judgment. But if you are ready, if you're done fragmenting and ready to integrate, if you're done performing and ready to be present, if you're done building a business and you're ready to become one, then I want to invite you to the Sacred Integration Journey. It's 3 months of deep holographic transformation. We meet weekly, 12 one-on-one guided sessions, 60 minutes each, and deep presence-based guidance through all 4 lenses of integration. But this is not a rigid curriculum. It's not week 1 we do this, week 2 we do that. It's holographic, it's organic, it's emergent. Each session responds to what's alive in you now, what wants to be seen, what's ready to transform. And we follow the intelligence of your transformation, not a fixed schedule, your organic unfolding. And then between sessions, I invite you into simple questions, portals of crystallization. Here's where all the insights that emerge from pure presence, from no agenda, they start to take form and start crystallizing your personal brand. You also have messaging support between sessions. This is your space to share breakthroughs, ask questions, process whatever is emerging. I respond regularly, and you're fully supported throughout the journey, not just during the calls. And here's also what makes this different, is that I work with a maximum of 5 clients at any given time. That means that you receive my complete presence, not my divided attention. This is how I serve at my highest level. This is how transformation actually happens. And this is not a marketing tactic. This is authentic limitation based on my energetic design. And I know myself, if I took on more clients, my presence will dilute and my energy will deplete. And you'll be paying $1,500 for a half-present guide. And that's just not acceptable to me. So I protect this boundary fiercely. 5 clients maximum, deep presence with each one, powerful transformations for everyone. And when those spots fill, enrollment closes, and not until next launch, just until space naturally opens, and which could be 3 months from now, could be 6 months, could be longer. So if you're feeling that pull, if there's something in you saying, yes, this is for me, this might be your moment. Before we go further, I would love you to see something. I invite you to close your eyes for a moment, to take a breath, and to imagine yourself 1 year from now. You're standing at the fork in the road, 2 paths, and you're about to choose which one you're going to walk. The path 1 is staying fragmented. 1 year from now, you're still here, still splitting yourself into pieces, still waking up with that heaviness, potential unexpressed, gifts ungiven, calling ignored. You're still at that soul-crushing job, or you quit and try to build something, but it's not working, posting content that feels forced, offering sessions no one books, undercharging when somebody finally says yes, and your spirituality is squeezed into 15 minutes before chaos begins. Your creativity is buried under survival and exhaustion. Your family, you're physically present but mentally absent. And the worst part is that you know you're meant for more. You feel it every day. But another year has passed. And you're still waiting, still not ready, still afraid to be visible, still undervaluing your gifts. And the people who need you, they never found you because you stayed hidden. And late at night, when it's just you and the truth, you know you're betraying yourself. The slow erosion of aliveness, the regret of knowing what you could have become, but you didn't. That's path 1. And path 2 is living integrated. 1 year from now, you wake up differently. There's no alarm. Your body rises when rested. There's a morning practice in your sacred space, not because you should, because it's who you are now. Unhurried time with family, real presence, no work thoughts, no guilt. Then 2 to 3 hours of deeply aligned work, content flowing from inspiration, your real journey, actual breakthroughs, and people responding, conversations happening naturally. And when aligned, you extend the invitation and they say yes. And the right people say yes. Premium clients who value your presence, your wisdom, your unique gifts, earning what you're actually worth. Your spirituality is your business now. Every session is meditation. Every piece of content is prayer. Every invitation is service, integration. Your creativity is finally unleashed. There's time, there's energy, there's spaciousness. Your family has the best version of you. You're present, you're peaceful, you're playful, and you're not wandering anymore. You know, because you're living it. You're serving powerfully, earning abundantly, living presently, not someday, now. And these aren't hypothetical futures. 1 year from now, you will be living one of these realities. The only question is, which one? And choosing path 2 doesn't require having it all figured out. It doesn't require being ready. It only requires one thing: the willingness to say yes. Yes to integration over fragmentation. Yes to presence over performance. Yes to becoming over waiting. And I'm working this path right now. I'm not at the finish line, but I'm living the integration daily. And the 2 to 3 hour work days are real. The presence with family is real. The spirituality as the business is real. And the income growing is also real. And I can show you the exact path I'm on without you having to spend years figuring it out like I did. And if you can feel that yes rising in you right now, if your body's saying path through, that's my path, then know this. The sacred integration journey is the bridge from path 1 to path 2. The bridge exists, the path is clear, the only question remaining is, are you ready to walk it? And if the answer is yes, if you're ready to do this, I invite you to fill out the application form below. It just takes about 10 minutes, and it's just simple questions about your journey. Where are you right now? What's your biggest challenge? What are you hoping to create? Why now? And these aren't trick questions. They are just reflection prompts so I can understand if we are aligned to do this together. And once I receive your application, if I sense that energetic recognition, if I feel and I know I'm meant to guide you, I'll reach out to schedule our conversation. And it's 45 to 60 minutes together. There's no agenda, no script, just presence to presence connection. You'll share your story, I'll share what I see, and we'll feel into whether this is a mutual yes. And if it is, you'll have the opportunity to begin the sacred integration journey. 3 months, 4 holographic lenses, complete transformation, from fragmented to integrated, from struggling to clear on your path, from how will I survive to understanding how to attract $1,500 clients through authentic presence. That path is available to you right now, if you're ready. So let me leave you with this. You don't have to choose between spirituality and money, between authenticity and success, between your calling and survival. Integration is possible. I am living it. My clients are living it. You can live it too. And everything you are, your spirituality, your creativity, your need for sustainable income, your desire for authentic expression, all of it can live together. And when it does, that's when your real power emerges. And the sacred integration journey is the bridge from where you are to where you want to be. It's a pathway I've walked myself, from fragmentation to integration, from burnout to sustainable flow. It's a holographic framework that emerged from years of guiding transformations. It's a map, the compass, and the guide. And if you're feeling that call, if something in you is saying, yes, this is my path, I'm here, ready to walk beside you, ready to guide you through, ready to hold space for your complete transformation. You don't need to fragment anymore, only to integrate completely. The question is, are you ready? Fill out the application form. The link is right below this video. It just takes about 10 minutes, just simple questions about your journey. And once I receive it, and if I feel that energetic recognition, I'll reach out to schedule our conversation. Your integrated life is waiting, and I'm so excited to finally meet you. Thank you so much for being with me today, for listening to all this. I see you, I feel you, and I'm excited to meeting you and beginning this journey together. With much love, Eliseo.